एक बार फिर से आपका स्वागत है ऑन क्लिक ऑन फ्लेवर्स ऑफ रमदान पावर्ड बाय योपली योगर्ट एंड ग्रैंड मिल्स फ्रेश चक्की आटा। मेरा नाम है गौरव, नाम तो सुना होगा। अब आप सोच रहे होंगे कि गौरव कब से कह रहा है कि अमेरिकन डिश दिखाऊंगा, कहाँ है भाई? टाइम लगता है। आप खुद जब अमेरिका जाना चाहते हैं तो आपको वीज़ा लेने में टाइम लगता है, तो डिश बनाने में भी तो टाइम लगेगा। देखिए, वैसे जो सैंडविच हम आपको बनाना आज सिखाने वाले हैं दुनिया भर में खाया जाता है। इट्स मेड ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड एंड एंजॉयड ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड। इट्स एक्चुअली अ पुल्ड बारबेक्यू बीफ ब्रिस्केट। अब देखिए होता क्या है, जब आप बारबेक्यू सैंडविचेस बनाते हैं तो उसे कई तरीके से बना सकते हैं, उसका मीट जो है वो कई तरीके से ले सकते हैं। द मोस्ट पॉपुलर वंस आर स्लाइस्ड, चॉप्ड और पुल्ड। पुल्ड बीइंग माय पर्सनल फेवरेट एज वेल। एंड इसमें होता ये है कि ये तरीका जो है सैंडविच में मीट लेने का इज़ वेरी पॉपुलर इन अमेरिका, स्पेशली इन लुइजियाना। तो अगर आप लुइजियाना कभी जाएं तो ये सैंडविच आपको बहुत आसानी से हर जगह मिलेगा। ये बनाना सीख लीजिए। इसका एक एडवांटेज और ये है कि क्योंकि ये बारबेक्यू है, ये हेल्दी भी है।
Hi, once again, welcome to the Flavours of Ramadan. My name is Chef Julius. I'm a culinary instructor at the School of Culinary Finishing Arts in Dubai, SCAFA. Today, I'll be teaching you how to make a pulled sandwich. Now, for the cut of the meat that you're going to use today, you're going to use a very nice chunky beef brisket. I'm going to go for a bit of pepper. Bit of pepper in. Some salt. And some salt in. That's done. Next thing, we're going to be making the sauce. What we need for the sauce is we're going to have to put the induction on. And first thing, I'm going to get our ketchup. Our ketchup is on. I'll give it a nice whisk. Then slowly get to add some of brown sugar in. Give it a nice stir. So now we need to add the Kashmiri chili powder. Yeah, just a nice dose of the chili. We have some vinegar that will go in. I blended in between two powders, onion powder and the garlic powder. So that also goes in nicely, and I give it a good mix. As you can see, it's all forming a paste nicely. And now our job for the sauce is done. Now, just to let it continue cooking while we get on to the next thing, I'll get to add just a bit of water nicely. Now, I get to get a bit of sunflower oil. Okay, just a bit of it in. Now, our pan is heating nicely up. The meat that we had cleaned, the nice piece of chuck, has already set in, and I hopefully that the salt and pepper soaked in. So now, what I'll be looking for is something that we call a Maillard reaction, whereby it's just browning and coating the sides of the meat and sealing in the juices. So now, we get to flip the other side. Like I said, you're looking for a nice coating, a nice kind of Maillard reaction. Now, our meat is done. These are basically cut onions, a bit of celery, and some carrots that are going in. It's just the meat is gonna come on top of it. The reason why we get to do this is that we avoid to get a baking container, put it on direct heat, and get to pour the sauce on top of it. Remember, there's some brown sugar in, and then there's a bit of ketchup, and all that is gonna just get to stick, and your meat is gonna be messy. Now, from the pan, I get to transfer meat in nicely using a spoon, and this I highly recommend. You need to give it a nice wash. There's no limitation to a barbecue sauce. Now, I had already preset the oven to 1 hour. I get to put it on the top. So this is done. So now we get to go for our focaccia, freshly homemade by our students here at Scafe. We used all-purpose flour. If you can't, you can buy it from any bakery that's your choice. Now I'll get to trim off the sides. And then go in with your bread knife. Now, we've just finished cutting the bread, and it should be ready to go to the oven. So I get my oven tray ready, place the slices of bread in, and the focaccia goes in the oven just to reheat it, not to overcook it or cook it again. Because we need to smother it with some sauce. Now it's time to get our focaccia out. Nice and warm. I'll get our bread on the counter. I'll get to nicely put a bit of it in. A nice squeezy. Using the same bread knife, I get to go over it, giving some generous amount of spreadings all over the bread. So that is spread nicely and even. Now, like I said, we'll need some fresh lettuce. I get to peel off some leaves. I put it in. Using a knife, we'll need some tomatoes. Depending on how thin or how thick you want to serve your tomatoes, I'll go for a thicker cut. Always get to check your bottom side on. I'll get to arrange the tomatoes in. Now, I believe that our meat is ready. I'm just going to make a bit of space for it. Okay? Now, I get to open up the oven. And this is good. It's done. I'll get it out a bit. Just move the basting sauce on top of it. So now, we've already pulled out our steak, which is very, very hot. Now, I need to shred it apart. So now I get to pull out as much as I can. So now, I get our beef on nicely. The lettuce that we had, I'll just get to fold it. One side comes on top, that side. And this other one covers this other side. And not much goes on. Then, now we get to cover our sandwich. Using the two skewers, I tightly place one in and the other one in, and then I get to turn it around. What I'm aiming is that I'm aiming for a nice angle that whereby when I get to cut it, you'll be able to see the filling that is in. So, gently and very slowly I get to go in and I get to cut all the way. Now that you're done with cutting our pulled beef sandwich, and if you get to open it up, you get to see the nice layers of the ripe tomatoes, our pulled beef, and the lettuce already in. So I get to place it up. Our sandwich is done. It was a nice recipe, the pulled beef sandwich, and I recommend during the month of Ramadan that you get to try it. It's a nice filling sandwich. I hope you all got to enjoy the recipe that we made together. Happy Ramadan.
एक बीफ ब्रिस्केट लीजिए और उस पे थोड़ा नमक और काली मिर्च लगाकर रख दीजिए। अब सॉस बनाने के लिए एक पैन में केचप, ब्राउन शुगर, मिर्च पाउडर, विनेगर, अनियन गार्लिक पाउडर और थोड़ा पानी डालकर उसे धीमी आंच पर पकाइए। अब एक दूसरे पैन में थोड़ा तेल गरम कीजिए और बीफ ब्रिस्केट को चारों साइड से ब्राउन कीजिए। एक बेकिंग ट्रे में अनियंस, गाजर और सेलेरी को डाइस करके डालिए। अब वेजिटेबल्स के ऊपर बीफ ब्रिस्केट को रखिए और उसके ऊपर सॉस को डाल दीजिए। अब इस बेकिंग ट्रे को 180 डिग्रीज के प्री हीटेड ओवन में बेक कीजिए। अब फोकेशिया ब्रेड को स्लाइस कीजिए और 2 मिनट के लिए बेक कीजिए। बेक करने के बाद गार्लिक मेयो को स्प्रेड कीजिए और स्लाइस टमाटर को ब्रेड पे रख दीजिए। अब बेक्ड ब्रिस्केट को कांटे से श्रेड कर दीजिए और ब्रेड पर स्प्रेड कर दीजिए। ऊपर से लेटिस का पत्ता रखिए और अब दूसरे ब्रेड से ढक दीजिए। स्क्यूअर्स से ब्रेड को होल कीजिए और 2 हिस्सों में काट दीजिए।
Scotch Brite tip of the day. The chef's knife is their right hand. So how do you keep their knives from getting those rusty stains? What you gotta do is take a little bit of lemon juice, put it on a sponge cloth, and give it a nice rub. Your knives are gonna be as good as new.